don't compare like this problem he solved in 5 minutes and I am taking 20 minutes. Don't do that.
Hmm.
Even if you are taking 20 minutes, solve it on your own. Broadly go over all the topics once, uh, to a smaller level, not like something which is lower than JEE mains probably in the first round. Like just cover all the concepts from NCRT, solve like the first exercise of your module.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Success Tips from Topper Lips. I'm Giridhar, and I'm a volunteer of Arjuna Group and your host for today. Today, we have an excellent show for you because we have with us my dear friend Shlok. Shlok has secured an All India rank of 94 in JEE 2021, and he's studying computer science in IIT Delhi. So, Shlok, tell me, what was your experience when you saw your rank for the first time?
It was pretty great actually. One of the best experiences I have had in like a long time. I was actually not expecting a rank that high. I was more like uh, just get into some branch of top IITs. But yeah, when I saw the rank, I was like, it was just the best surprise I could get.
Nice. And the topic you have chosen for today is actually a very relevant one. So this is the time where, like in the October, November time when the syllabus gets over for 12
Mm.
standards and they are now going to start writing their mock exams, and then every single student will ask that, sir, how do we manage backlogs? There are topics we have not understood. So I wanted to know what made you select this topic?
I think this was the topic which I could relate the most out of all of them because I myself had a very big backlog. So
I
when
see.
the teacher we started inorganic chemistry, like the main portion of it from like hydrogen family, S block, P block, and all. I decided to not study with the class, which was like the worst decision I ever made because I thought कि अभी पढ़ेंगे and then we will anyways like forget it by
Forget
the
it.
time JE comes. Yeah, which is like extremely not true, and I will like recommend not doing this for anybody because like starting anything new is definitely worse than just revising something which you have already done and you don't forget stuff. So yeah, but I did that mistake and I just skipped the entire inorganic chemistry. And then by the time we finished with the portion, I realized that how big a mistake this was, and then I had to like cover everything from hydrogen family till D block and qualitative analysis. So this was like a major backlog which I've cleared, and I think I can like share something which I've learned while clearing it.
It's very interesting, and I think it will be very heartening to our viewers to think कि भाई टॉप 100 लाने वाला बंदा भी ऐसे सब चीजें हरकतें कर चुका है ना. Otherwise people are like top 100 means it's some magical thing. uh, what did you do like when you saw this huge backlog? Like there is one third of the most scoring subject, right? One
Hmm.
third of the most scoring subject you have found that you have not covered. So how did you actually approach this problem, and how did you not get discouraged?
Actually, I did get discouraged in the beginning. It's not like I was like of- at like all times I was like हो जाएगा clear कुछ tension नहीं है. I was under a lot of tension and like they're getting discouraged. But basically, we have to like keep this discourage aside and focus on clearing the backlog. And backlogs aren't like that bad as what you think. In fact, having like zero backlogs is worse than having a backlog. Because backlogs just show
Oh,
that you are
interesting.
like setting higher goals than yourself than what you are basically capable of. And if you have like zero backlogs, it just means you're keeping lower goals. So yeah, you are going to stumble. Like if you aren't stumbling, you aren't going fast enough. So backlogs aren't bad. Don't get discouraged by them. But that doesn't mean like just keep accumulating backlogs. So just keep clearing them small by small, and you will see the results, and that will slowly remove the discouragement, and you'll basically get motivated more to clear more backlog. And when you keep seeing the results you're getting after clearing the backlog slowly, you'll be motivated more and the discouragement goes. Don't worry about that.
Nice, nice. So when you had this backlog, how did you split it up? Like, because there's like so much of it, right? Like, how do you go on clearing it in like, levels or step by step? What was your strategy for it?
Yeah, so basically there are like broadly two ways about clearing a backlog. One is that you just take a topic, do it to the maximum depth of JEE Advanced, then take the next topic, do it to the maximum depth of JEE Advanced, like go like this. But I would like recommend not doing this because we have to give JEE mains in the middle, and getting a good score in JEE mains is also important. And also, it's better to like just broadly go over all the topics once, uh, to a smaller level, not like something which is lower than JEE mains probably in the first round. Like just cover all the concepts from NCRT, solve like the first exercise of your module or something like that. After that, then go for previous year's questions from JEE mains, solve them. After you get them, then learn some more advanced concepts which are like which come in JEE advanced portions. Then just keep increasing the depth over all the topics gradually, so you get more confident in all the topics simultaneously, instead of just becoming the master of one topic and not knowing the other one
Mm,
completely.
nice. Actually, even I remember in my preparation, that was the thing. There were some chapters in inorganic where, till the end, actually, main thing I had done was NCRT only. The other things I had not properly covered. And but it so happened that about 80% of advanced also I could clear with it. Versus, if I had gone into this thing of, एक topic में उस्ताद बनेंगे, then so
Ah,
I might not have got anything. That's nice. That's nice. So here there is a very popular question. I'll bring that straight away. That usually when we are faced with our backlog, simultaneously another enemy also comes in the form of mock tests.
yeah,
So how do we balance our time between these two? That is my question.
yeah, very difficult actually. So when I started giving the mock test after like the portion was just complete, uh, I was getting like really low scores compared to my classmates, because inorganic chemistry is like the one where it's the most scoring one. It's just that it's the most scoring one. You have to like, it just decides where your rank is. So I was like getting very low marks, and but I knew that once I'm done with inorganic, I will be back with my classmates. So this was like the main motivation which I had for clearing the backlog. That I'm getting low marks in mock test, but the only solution to that is clearing backlog. It's not that I can like neglect backlog and just focus on my strong topics more, and that way increase my score. That will like take me probably one or two levels up. But clearing backlog will like just give a huge jump to my scores. And I think we shouldn't get demotivated by the marks of the mock test, because they don't really matter a lot. And we should focus on the long term plan, which is like getting great marks in the final JEE Advanced or JEE Mains paper. And long term clearing backlog is definitely the solution to like getting good marks. So don't get discouraged by the mock test marks; they don't matter, and just focus on clearing backlog step by step. And yeah, the mock test marks will slowly start increasing, and yeah, you'll have a higher confidence.
That's amazing. Actually, it's what you said, right? About when you saw the low scores in your
Mm.
exam, what you thought was, okay, if the reason, what is the actual reason that I'm getting low scores is because I'm not prepared in inorganic. Therefore, just
Yeah,
by studying inorganic, I'll get a huge jump. And therefore, I need not worry too much because ultimately these exams don't matter so much and I'll be at par with my classmates, right? And what you have told here is actually something which in Arjuna Group we go and teach students. It's something called mindset and emotional and mental strength, right?
mm,
It's the ability when you are faced with a very difficult personal challenge to be able to clearly dissect a problem and say that, okay, this is the cause of the problem, this is how I can fix it. Let me not become overly emotional, let me just proceed with the right solution. And I always say this to every student we interact with, that this is the key factor which decides who does well and who struggles, not just in
mm,
exams but in every aspect of life. So this particular skill that you have shown is something that I think all our viewers should also be able to do. When faced with a problem, just in a relaxed way, try to analyze what's going on and find how to fix it. Right? Specifically in this case, you talked about how you should focus on the long term. So that
yeah,
was very amazing. Right? So this is one type of backlog which comes in October. There is another type of backlog which starts for some students in the first month itself. So this happens with many students. They come and tell us that, sir, we are sitting in class, we are trying to pay attention, but on the first two benches, first two rows of the class, there are students who have been attending coaching from The past, I don't know. I think they have been attending from 10 years. It's like maybe they've attended 2 years or something, but it feels like they've been doing this only their whole life. And here, sir is asking a question. I am still trying to write down what he explained before the question. This person, before question is completed, he's telling the answer, right? So
Happens.
there is a situation where you are struggling to grasp what is going on in class, and simultaneously, so you are getting a backlog, as literally in live you are getting backlog,
Like,
and parallelly there is this person who is like shouting answers like anything. So how does one not get discouraged in this kind of a situation?
yeah. So firstly, like we have to be sure about one thing, which is that we have enough time to clear JEE Advanced with like any rank you desire. 2 years is like definitely more than enough to cover the portion. The portion looks a lot in the beginning, but it's actually not like really vast. You can cover it in 2 years. Like you can cover each and every concept in 2 years. Don't get discouraged by those who start early. And second thing is those who have started early haven't covered any like huge chunk of the portion. They have just covered like first 2 3 months of the JEE Advanced portion in 11th standard. So, and that is why you feel the pressure in the first 2 3 months only because they have covered that portion. But after 3 months, you are basically learning new things, and so are they who have done the foundation courses. And in the first 3 months, just like stick to the basics and go according to your own pace. Don't compare yourself with anyone else. And also your thinking abilities will also increase over the next 3 4 months to a very great level, because in 10th standard we don't do a lot of problem solving and all, so our thinking abilities don't increase that rapidly during 10th standard. So after in 11th, when you really start solving the difficult problems, your thinking abilities go up, and you will also be one of those giving the right answers after like 5 6 months. Don't get discouraged by those in the first 3 months. Basically you have to just like hold on and focus on the basics, not get discouraged, and just keep working. That's it. And then after 3 4 months you'll just see the results.
Wonderful. So actually, two things you helped. You helped on both sides. You helped the students understand what should be their mindset to not compare and get discouraged, and at the same
Yeah.
time, how to practically increase their grasping power so that they are able to compete. So I think you mentioned that although it's difficult, although it's discouraging, persist, keep trying to do tough questions, keep trying to expose yourself to the art of problem solving, and with that, you will actually get better, right?
Yeah, with problem solving is like the main way you can increase your thinking abilities and go ahead. So just keep solving the problems. Don't compare like this problem he solved in 5 minutes and I am taking 20 minutes. Don't do that.
Hmm.
Even if you're taking 20 minutes, solve it on your own. Think about it on your own. And your thinking abilities are increasing. And slowly the gap between you and them are it is diminishing. Even if you are not noticing it, after 3 4 months you will see the results. You won't see it like after 1 week of problem solving, you will see that you want to like
Hmm.
give the answer first in class. That won't happen. It will happen slowly and you won't even notice it. But like when you look back, you will see that this was what was happening earlier and now I am with them. So just stick to the basics and keep studying.
That's nice. That's nice. This is another thing actually we talk to our students about, that JEE is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah,
So it's like, if to see any result, you have to kind of keep at it for some time. Like even if you take the example of the rabbit and tortoise, right? It's a very commonly quoted story. But if you actually think from the perspective of the tortoise, it can throw a lot of light on the situation, because look at what he was going through. He was at the back of the at the somewhere near the starting line, and he is seeing, he doesn't even know where the rabbit is. He doesn't know that the rabbit has stopped or whatever, right? he is just he just has his road, that's it, and he's working
yeah.
away gradually.
He's just focusing on what he has to do, not what
Exactly.
others are doing or what. Yeah,
And he had similar difficulties. It was hot for him as well. There was shade for him as well, right? For the same distractions which were there for the rabbit were there for the tortoise. But he didn't think that, oh, anyway rabbit would have won, what is the point, let me just rest. These are very common thoughts that could have come, but he was like, no, let me just persist, and eventually he did overtake the rabbit, versus the rabbit who was like, यार अभी तो अपना हो गया ना, क्या टेंशन है, सब कर लिया है. He had that disadvantage of overconfidence. So
yeah,
once again, it is clear that even talent or more preparation time or these things are less important than mindset when you are talking
true.
about a long term preparation thing like JEE. So great, that was wonderful. I think in the last 15 minutes we have got a lot of power packed points you have shared with the students. And finally, I would just like to ask that if you had an opportunity to read a book like The Art of Concentration in your 11th and 12th standard, how much do you think it would have helped you?
It would have helped a lot actually, because in 11th standard compared to 12th, I was actually very distracted and I didn't like study for long hours in 11th. So if I had like started reading the book in 11th itself, then I would have like been more steady, and in 12th I wouldn't have had that pressure which I had, which was because I was distracted in 11th and didn't study that much. So I would have been more steady and more confident throughout my journey. It would have helped a lot.
Absolutely. Actually, I myself read this book when I was in my 12th standard, and it was immensely helpful to me. And I read it at this time only. I started in September, and I found it so interesting that I think in like 2 3 weeks I had completed the entire book. Although there was like NSCP and all these Olympiads also starting parallelly,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it was around that time. I still remember it was before the first FITGI AITS, and
The sooner you start reading the book, the better it is, because you'll experience like the earlier you get freed from distractions, the better it is. Just read it in 11th would be the best option.
right. Yes. Yes. So thank you, Shlok. Thank you for giving your time. I know that you have come here amidst your midsems and all of these exams to actually interact with the students and share your wisdom with them. So, guys, thank you all for watching this episode with us. You have stayed till here, then I think you can also hit the subscribe button below and you will get more updates about wonderful interviews like this with such gems of people like Shlok. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the
Thank you
best.
for